Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen, having some Earl Grey tea, and I'm going to do a reading for you. Okay. So, we got the Two of Cups, and we got Strength. So, interesting. It looks like this is involving some sort of deep connection, and it's a situation that's that's going to require some strength. So when I pull this down, we got the Queen of Swords, so boundaries are necessary. We have the Emperor, the High Priestess, and the Four of Wands. So, and then after that we have the Six of Swords. So from all of this, what I'm getting is that we have some person who's like in charge, and we have a more intuitive person that are kind of in this family dynamic. But we're moving on from a bad situation to a better situation. So it sort of implies that there's been some sort of conflict between these two people, requiring boundaries. And when I pull down the other card, the Strength card, we have the Five of Swords, the Five of Wands, and I think that kind of confirms there's some sort of conflict here between these two. There's going to be winners and there's going to be losers that are going to come out of this conflict. This is like the Highlander, like there can be only one card. Somebody's going to come out ahead in this conflict, and that is going to require strength. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to go to the Mystical Shaman, see what I get there. I have a sip of tea. It's still pretty early in the morning over here. Okay. So, interesting. When I do the split, I got the Medicine Wheel and I got Earth. And this just came out in another reading, but this is like Gaia. And what's interesting is that this energy really came out in the May monthly reading, because there was this like sort of elevation of this divine feminine energy, which Gaia is like the ultimate in divine feminine energy. And there's some sort of healing that's happening. Like this is a card of sort of doing an evaluation of what your true north is, like where you want to go, and then evaluating what you need to let go of, what no longer serves you, people, places, things, situations that you need to let go of so that you can move forward. So I think that speaks to this whole thing of having to have boundaries with this, maybe a relationship that's holding someone back. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the Light Seers. And we're gonna pick some more cards and see what comes out. Wow. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords, which, you know, this can be a message of truth or clarity coming in. Sometimes it can be a stalker energy, but in this deck, what I really get is that this person is doing a tightrope walk. And they're trying to balance, like, they've got all these ideas and plans, and they're trying to do this tightrope walk from, like, one place to the next. Are you okay? We got the Eight of Pentacles. So this is someone who's really working hard, you know. They're getting her done. And it's interesting how this goes with the cycles of the moon, because it's like the next card after this is the moon. And what I'm kind of getting from this is this person is sort of like holding it down. And then we have the moon, and there's like all this emotion, and there's something hidden underneath the water here. And so it's like, it's almost like this person's been doing all the work, but something's been hidden under the surface. And it's like at some point, the moon is going to illuminate what that is. Perhaps that this person is doing all the work, you know? And perhaps this is the moment when that's going to come to light, because we have a Tower immediately after that, and then we have this Death and Rebirth. So what I'm kind of getting, because there's been this conflict between these two people, there's obviously this change that's going to have to happen. Somebody's going to come out ahead. And what I'm kind of getting is that there's just been this one person that's been holding it down and doing all the work, and this person is maybe needing to draw boundaries because they're carrying this other person who's like not doing anything. And that's maybe what's going to come to light. And that's going to cause a total breakdown in the current structure. The structure, which has been kind of balancing on like a fine wire. And then there's this opportunity coming through that's maybe going to trigger this shakeup, and the situation's going to finally be able to change. So, go to the Queen of the Moon Oracle. All right, so we got Wisdom at the bottom of the deck. We got Action. And we got Pleasure. So what I'm getting is, this is a time for action. Like, things are about to change. And there's been one person that's been kind of like seeing the reality of the situation and just kind of like working hard, getting things done. And one person may be like totally lost in their emotions. But at the end of the day, when this thing crumbles, it's like the person who sort of had the foresight to see the way things are going to play out, that's going to ultimately come out ahead. Person with the wisdom. So I'm kind of getting that it's like this High Priestess. High Priestess is super tapped into wisdom, and maybe has been oppressed by someone who's like had the power but wasn't doing any of the work. And so this is kind of like a shakedown of this sort of unstable dynamic. And the person who's been doing all the work is going to draw boundaries around themselves and ultimately heal themselves and move on to a situation that matches what they're worthy of. So, looks like a pretty big shakedown, but one that needs to happen. So, check back soon with more messages.